Today, July 7th, 2009, the man who played baggage handler #1 in Trading Places, star of SNL and the movies Stewart Saves His Family, author of Rush Limbaugh is a Big Fat Idiot, took the oath of office as the junior U.S. Senator from the state of Minnesota, meaning his resume is already more impressive than all but about 7% of all those who have ever preceded him into the Senate of our nation. Our fourth story tonight, accompanied by Senator Amy Klobuchar and former Vice President Mondale to his swearing in by current Vice President Biden. Ladies and gentlemen, Senator Al Franken.
Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear that you will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic? That you will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, that you take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that you will well and faithfully discharge the duty of the office upon which you are about to enter. So help you God.
I do.
Congratulations, Senator.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Senator. Republicans responded with this web ad showing Franken seemingly worked up, making this the face of the new supermajority in the Senate, where Democrats now have 60 votes, enough to block Republican filibusters. Except that the video shows an impression Franken was doing on the stump of his idol, former Minnesota Senator Paul Wellstone, when he was coaching his son in track. All of which Republicans know already because Norm Coleman used the same video last year when Franken won. In an email to the Plumline blog, the GOP suggested replacing the bogus video with a picture of Franken in a diaper, a bogus picture photoshopped by Ohio Republicans to slam Democrat Sherrod Brown for associating with Franken back in 2006 when Brown won. Let's turn now to the architect of the new Democratic supermajority, former DNC chair, former Vermont Governor Howard Dean. Much thanks for your time tonight, sir.
Hey, thank you for having me on, Keith.
Republicans suggest using a bogus still picture that failed to defeat now Senator Brown to replace a bogus video that failed to defeat now Senator Franken in an ad that they hope will defeat the supermajority. In your doctoring days, you must have done a psych rotation. Can you address this repeated reliance on tactics that are both misleading and failures?
This is an old political problem, is people who do the same thing and expect different results. And, you know, I think the Republicans are just, unfortunately, they're kind of in the past. They're the party, basically, of hate and negativism, and they've got to, in order to recover, they have got to simply start contributing in a positive way to the debate.
Yeah, it reminds me suddenly of the old Bob Elliott, Ray Goulding sketch where Ray Goulding says something about speaking to somebody who doesn't speak English. He says, "You don't speak English, so I'll yell a little louder." Everything seems just to be louder when, in fact, does the Al Franken success here actually indicate that we're moving the other way? I mean, he won his political career as a rhetorical bomb thrower, and I say that reverentially, but he won his campaign by playing it much more safe than that, much more, I guess, responsibly than that, certainly circumspectly, and I say that reverentially too. What kind of balance does he have to find now in the Senate?
He just has to be himself. He's a very funny guy. He's incredibly bright and very, very quick-witted. But I think he's going to have to focus on the very bright stuff. He knows a lot about public policy. I think he's going to be a tremendous addition to the Senate. I really do. He's got a lot of deep knowledge about a lot of issues. So I think all he has to do is be his real self. And he's already learned to kind of park the more acerbic stuff from Saturday Night Live at the door. And I think the people of Minnesota recognize that.
He kicked the crap out of me on Jeopardy when we were on. Two members of the Big 6-0 now here are independents, and Senator Byrd and Senator Kennedy have had their health issues that we know of course. With Franken now on the Health Committee, can Harry Reid, if he can't muster 60 votes for health care reform, are we sure that he can muster 60 votes to stop Republicans from filibustering health care reform?
We don't need 60 votes from health care reform. All we need is 51. We have reconciliation. The Republicans have made it really clear there's not going to be any kind of a bipartisan solution that's going to be any good. All the demands that they've made have essentially already gutted health care reform. So the really only solution here is to get the 51 votes. I don't think Al Franken went to the Senate to be a rubber stamp. I know the Senate's used to being a rubber stamp from when President Bush was around, but this Senate is not going to be a rubber stamp. They're going to do what they think is right, and hopefully that will be what the American people want.
You know, we talked about rubber stampness last time, and obviously Democrats got to where they are today by running a nationwide progressive agenda. What happens to the party now if Senator Reid and President Obama let a handful of the so-called blue dogs hold that agenda hostage or even slow it down?
Well, then there's trouble. We're going to lose seats in 2010 if we don't pass what the president said was change you can believe in. You know, change, a little change is not change you can believe in. You need a lot of change, and the president's delivered on that so far. But the health care reform is his biggest problem. You know, the issue is not so much the blue dogs running the show or whatever. The issue is people not having enough nerve, you know, not having enough spine to do the right thing. Look, this is a battle between the insurance companies and the American people. 72% of the American people want a really good health care reform bill that includes their ability to choose between a public and private plan. 72%. So this changes. This is not about being conservative or liberal. This is about whether you side with the insurance companies or whether you side with the American people. And it's as simple as that. And now we're going to find out whether this is really change you can believe in or something else.
As you correctly point out, the public is always ahead of the media and the politicians on these things. And if the politicians and the media don't listen, they pay the price. Governor Howard Dean, on the occasion of Al Franken's swearing in today. Great thanks for your time, sir.
Thank you.